And we have breaking news coming out of the state of Illinois. This will affect you regardless of where you live in Illinois. And should you come to visit the state, keep this in mind. I'd like to know your thoughts. And as always, share this video. We have from the pundit insanity. Illinois Supreme Court overturns lower court ruling, paving the way for elimination of cash bail on felonies. That's right, folks, including second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, and kidnapping. You think about what we're talking about here, guys. Essentially, if a person commits one of these heinous crimes and are accused or charged, they will be processed but will be out on the streets shortly thereafter. The Illinois Supreme Court upheld a Pre-Trial Fairness Act provision of the Safety, Accountability, Equity, Transparency Today Act, Safety Act, meaning that cash bail will be eliminated in the state of Illinois in 60 days. A massive win for criminals. Folks, you may want to consider sooner than later extracting your family for the safety of your family and leave Illinois altogether. Don't come visit the place because it's going to get awfully rough. Many are saying that the purge is on its way. Moving on here, the elimination of cash bail in Illinois was set to go into effect on Sunday, January 1st of 2023. But the state's highest court halted the reform. Democrats in Illinois passed a new law to eliminate the cash bail system. The new law aimed at reforming the state's criminal justice system. This will result in a release on no bail while waiting court date of those accused of certain felonies such as second-degree murder, aggravated battery, and arson without bail, as well as drug-induced homicide, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, intimidation, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing and eluding drug offenses, and threatening a public official. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed HB 3653, the Safety Act, into law in February, saying transforming the pretrial detention system so low-income people aren't thrown behind bars while only the wealthy walk free, diverting low-level drug crimes into substance treatment programs, and reducing excessive stays in prison. Mayor of Orland Park said in a press conference earlier this year that the new law would deny victims their constitutional rights. They're talking about the victims there. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense, said the mayor. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Power to the criminals, Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. So if a person has that ankle bracelet and are required to stay in home detention, they have up to 48 hours to violate that home detention before law enforcement can legally take action to apprehend that individual. They can almost drive to Alaska before law enforcement can even look at them, said the mayor. It denies victims their constitutional right and keeps this in mind. Businesses and homeowners will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or business. Lock them doors. Listen, folks, here's one thought. As you know, I'm a firearms instructor in Chicago. We teach and talk about the judicious use of force in order to protect yourself against another person's unlawful use of force. And in forcible felony, we read that kidnapping, a burglary, arson, all these heinous crimes, according to the letter of the law, a person is judicious in the use of deadly force. Now, I know there's a lot of nuances with that. We talk about it in the class. Sometimes, it's probably a go ahead and protect yourself. Other times, of course not, de-escalate or don't get involved. The point is, what I'm very curious about is this. If this Safety Act, which is going into effect, what does that mean for the topic of use of force? Will you still be able to protect yourself in the case of a robbery, or will it even further be frowned upon to protect yourself, and ultimately more good law-abiding people in the state of Illinois, whether visiting or residents, whether in Chicago or in Crook County or in Southern Illinois, will they be viewed upon differently in that court of law when they go to protect themselves? Folks, this is wild. It is true insanity. All right, moving on. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket, which is essentially a petty offense, right? Give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it is legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Orland Park, said the mayor. Earlier this year, a Kankakee, Illinois County judge ruled that parts of the Safety, Accountability, Fairness, and Equity Today Safety Act violates the Illinois Constitution. Because, as the Illinois Supreme Court has determined, this administration of the justice system is an inherent power of the courts upon which the legislature may not infringe, and the settling of bails fail with that administration power. I'm sorry about that. The appropriateness of bail rests with the authority of the court and may not be determined by a legislative fiat. On Tuesday, the Illinois Supreme Court overturned the lower court's ruling, citing ending cash bail is constitutional. The Illinois Constitution of 1970 does not mandate that monetary bail is the only means to ensure a criminal defendant appears for trials, or the only means to protect the public. The court concluded our Constitution creates a balance between the individual rights of defendants and the individual rights of crime victims. The Act's pretrial release provision sets forth procedures to commensurate with that balance. For the reasons that we have stated, we reverse the Circuit Court's decision to grant summary judgment in favor of the plaintiffs, according to the Supreme Court opinion in the case of Roe versus Raoul. That's Attorney General Raoul in the state of Illinois. Cash bail will be eliminated in Illinois starting September 18th, also known as Purge Day, when it all goes to hell. Folks, I'm really curious to see your opinion on this. I get it. They're saying that this is directed to those who may not have the funds to get themselves out of prison. Essentially, this is designed for, according to them, for the poor people. And I'm really curious. Again, put one in the comment section if you believe that the Safety Act and everything that we have just covered is appropriate in the state of Illinois. By the way, Illinois has created history as Illinois is the first state in the union to adopt such a law. Put a 2 in the comment section if you think this is preposterous and is only going to exacerbate crime throughout the state of Illinois, as, again, if a person is charged with a criminal offense such as robbery or second-degree murder. What is second-degree murder? Second-degree murder is typically understood as in a fit of rage, a person used deadly force and killed somebody. These people will be processed and essentially just hours later, be released back into public. Will this reform our judicial system? Will this make the public safer, or will this bring more criminals on our streets? By the way, and I could be wrong about this, correct me if I am, I believe at some point after this goes into effect that people who are currently incarcerated waiting on their court date, they can petition to also be released, as they will be, I guess maybe wrong word, grandfathered in and be able to then also be released, and it will have been affected. September 18th The purge begins, folks. I would encourage you, those that are defenders of your households, those that are concealed carry licensees in the state of Illinois, you may not want to get involved, because I fear that though the use of force statute will remain the same, it will be further frowned upon for an individual to protect themselves. Is that not dystopia when law enforcement hands are tied, the civilian protecting themselves, their hands are tied, but yet the criminals reign supreme, creating anarchy, chaos, and lunatics running about, and the homeowner needs to, the person needs to stay indoors and not protect themselves. This is some deep stuff. This is very serious. It is happening. The Supreme Court in Illinois has ruled on it, and as far as I could tell, there ain't nothing going to reverse it. It is what it is. Folks, evacuate the state of Illinois. Leave as soon as possible, because I foresee very, very troublesome things coming from the Safety Act. And by the way, we're going to have the ruling coming out pretty soon, as far as I know, on the Illinois assault weapons ban is on its way as well. I strongly fear that too will remain enacted and going to make criminals out of, yes, you otherwise good law-abiding people. I mean, we know that our Illinois governor paid a few $1 million to a few Supreme Court justices for their re-election, if you will. So very concerning, very troublesome. Folks, the best thing you can do is stay prepared spiritually. The best thing you can do is stay prepared physically and mentally. Get additional training, but the best is to evacuate Illinois. This is just one man's opinion. I'd like to know yours. Please share this video. I'd like to see this channel continue to grow. Thanks for all your support. I love you. I thank you. Oh, by the way, please also, I will put a link in the description and in the comment section. It'll be pinned for a free, 100% free family and home defense guide. If you click on the link, plug in your email, it'll be sent to you immediately, a digital free guide. Put in your friend's email, your family's email addresses, as it is a free gift to them as well. It, of course, helps support this channel and gets the word out on self-defense, especially for those that may not necessarily want to come into a class, but it's a great family and home defense guide. Awesome material, providing you education and training, all at your fingertips, 100% free. Click on the link, plug in your email, plug in your friends' emails. It helps out this channel and it helps you. I love you. I thank you. And as always, folks, remain safe.